Hello everyone, so welcome to my video. So today I'm going to be showing you how I made these cash envelopes using the cheapest items possible. So I made these and I put them in this little binder for my budgeting, for the budgeting stuff that I do on this channel. So I'm just going to put that to the side and show you exactly what I used. So most of the stuff I used is from Dollar Tree. So for example, this hole puncher was $1 at Dollar Tree. These folders, which are already cut because obviously I used them to make those cash folders, those are also from Dollar Tree. They were $1. It was 3 that came in the pack. So you can potentially make a lot of cash folders out of these. And of course I used scissors. These are also from Dollar Tree, $1. Actually, really nice pair of scissors. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna hold you. Dollar Tree really knows where it's at. And then this is not from Dollar Tree. Obviously, it says Staples on it. It's from Staples, but it's tape. I decided to use clear Scotch tape. You can use whatever tape you want. This is the only thing that wasn't from Dollar Tree. So yeah, but everything else was $1. So in total, I probably spent like $5 on the tape and $3 for all this other stuff. So $8, less than $10, I made a bunch of cash folders. So we're going to start that today. So the first thing I did was take the binder that I was going to put them in and measure it, just so I knew how big I wanted my cash folders to be. So when I measured this, it was about 5.25 inches by 4.75 inches. So I just made my cash folders a little bit smaller. I believe I made them 3.25 inches or something like that by 4.25 inches or 4.75 inches, something like that. I don't remember the exact measurements. So that was just the cash folder, so this segment. And then this area with the hole punches, I just literally taped a piece of folder on the back and punched out holes wherever the ring was supposed to sit in the cash folder. And yeah, they've been working pretty well. So let's begin. So I already know roughly how big I want my cash folders to be. So yeah, I don't really need to measure again. So these cuts here show about how big I wanted the folder to be. So you can see a cut right here and a cut right here. So we're just going to go based on that. Let's just measure it real quick, make sure. Yep, that's correct. And to make it tall enough, I'll just base it on the cash folders I have here. So the next thing I did is you can see that it's not completely straight because I didn't use a ruler to measure it. So what I'm going to do is try and cut it as straight as possible so I have a nice rectangle. Okay, that's just about a perfect rectangle, more or less. That's as perfect as it's going to get with me cutting this without a ruler. So the next thing I did was create the label for it. So as you can see, these cash folders right here all have labels on them. You can just use any piece of paper. You can also use a piece of the folder, just turn it around to the white side. So yeah, we're going to do that right now. We're just going to use one of the folders to cut out a label. So the folder that I'm making right now is going to be hair, my hair folder. I know, weird, but I like to get braids and things like that. So yeah, that's what this folder is becoming. So what we want to do is grab a pen, a pencil, a marker, or whatever, and just write the name on it. So I'm just going to put hair. Okay, and then what you're going to do is grab a piece of tape. Oh great, my end is lost. Hold on while I find that. Okay, so we're just going to take a piece of tape that's big enough to cover the label.
That's big enough. Just tape it down. Very simple. I know, ignore the fingerprints, whatever. You're not going to really see the fingerprints anyway. I like to get the tape perfectly situated, like without air bubbles or things like that.
So there we go. So that's taped down, as you can see. So next thing we're going to do is check out if we like the placement. I kind of want to trim some off the top here just because it's not straight and I have a pet peeve with that. So just gonna fix it a little. Okay, that's a little bit better. I can deal with that. I'll live with that. Move all our garbage to the side. So here we go. So now we're gonna start taping up the sides. So I just take a nice chunk of tape, about that big. And first we're gonna tape the bottom together. So I just take the tape and stick it on one side. Make sure that presses down well. And then as I'm sticking it onto the other side, I just make sure that the two layers of the cash folder are perfectly aligned before I stick the tape down. And then I just flip the tape over and stick it down on the opposite side. And sometimes like it messes up and you might get air bubbles, which is the great thing about Scotch tape, because it, at least the one that I got, pulls up relatively clean. So I can just pull it up and, you know, fix it before I stick it back down. Okay, so I couldn't stick it down perfectly, but you get the gist. You stick the bottom together. Now that we have our, you know, almost done cash folder, now we're going to stick the two sides together. So I just grab a good piece of tape that's not too long. I don't like it to be longer than the actual side. Then I stick it down on one side. And there you go. More or less you have your little cash folder, right? So I try to make sure that I get the entire side. If there's some left over, I might take like a little piece of tape and stick it over just so I don't have, if you can see this little like, this gap right here. Yeah, I don't want that. So I'll grab like a little piece of tape. That's good enough. And I'll just stick it right there. I'll get it aligned perfectly with the top. And stick it right there, flip it over, and push it down. And there we go. So the folder itself is done, more or less. You can like clean it up, you know, cut off the edges or whatever you want. But there's your folder. So now we're going to go ahead and create the actual part that attaches to our cash binder. So we're going to make the hole punch portion. So I wanted mine to be a different color. I didn't want it to be the same yellow with polka dots. So that's why I flipped over the yellow with polka dots. As you can see, it's all yellow and polka dot on the back, and made it white. You can use whatever color folder you want. They had a lot of different colors. They also had chevron, but the chevron was like in colors I didn't really like. So I got the yellow with white polka dots. So we're just going to go ahead and grab our cut up folder again. And we're just going to use maybe half of this. You don't really need the whole thing. Let me just make sure that that's what I used. Yeah, I only used half. So I'm just gonna cut this so I have 1/2 of the folder. And then I'll put the other half over here out of the way. So what I did was measured the same size. I took like a pencil, you can use a pen, whatever, and just marked how long the cash folder was. So about right there. Then I grabbed my scissors and just cut right where I marked, like a nice thick piece. Because you want to have enough of the folder so that your cash folder is supported, like it doesn't just fall off, like, because you know it's taped together, it's bound to fall off. So just enough so that it can stick to the cash folder. I could even have cut more, and then also enough so that you can punch holes into it. So I'm just going to make sure that this is about the same size as the ones I have. Yep. So what I did was I just went ahead and aligned that the way I wanted it to look, which is about right there. And then you want to tape the sides. So just a small piece of tape is all you need for that. All right, and there we have it. So the cash folder is more or less done. All we got to do now is poke holes in the bottom. So what I did was I grabbed my binder and I just lined it up and took a pencil and kind of just marked where the holes are or where the holes need to be. So I just did a little mark right there, there. This is an A7 binder, by the way, so works pretty well. You know, it's perfect as like a little wallet. So yeah, get that out of the way. Then I grab my hole puncher